up, guys? Thanks for joining in. So, I am trying to create a suspense game now. And it has its own unique set of challenges outside of just what we've done before, but this is the basic concept. We're in a hallway, and the hallway just kind of goes on forever. But the story is driven by the items that you find, notes, and I guess flashbacks that you might have. And the reason that I like this idea that I had is because it's a manageable way to do a game. I can just control a little section of this and then make it to where it can't go backwards, which is cheap for sure, but it is a way to control the game, and I feel like you can still make it compelling with a game like that. And I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to spruce it up with some items, some furniture, because it's looking a little bit dull. And there is a problem that I currently have, which is that the limitations of the 3D model are pretty strenuous on the game engine. They make everything run pretty slowly. And I'll give you an example of that real quick. So I'm making a class here called Carpet Square, and I have a 3D model called Carpet. And it's too big. Let me see, I think I trashed it. It's okay. I can just bring back into Blender here. Via import, I suppose. Downloads is where it's at. And what we get here is a gigantic carpet. I believe. Oh, there it is, way up there. Yeah. This is the carpet that I got, and it is just massive. I need it to be 32 meters, I suppose. And as far as this one's dimensions, I'm not entirely sure. It's got a high resolution. This might be correct, 250. I don't know. I'm not going to measure it. All I really need to do is just get it scaled down. So for that, we will use the scale tool. And for uniform scaling, we just click this white circle, and then it makes it smaller and smaller and smaller. It's hard to manage at this point, though. Need to zoom in to continue. And I said 32 meters. For the model. And what we have here is more or less like pretty much a square. Each one of these squares right here is a meter, and I think we're a little bit below the 0 on this axis. We'll fix that in a moment. The point is, I think that I need to copy this to elongate it a little bit. So, as far as how wide I want it, I think we'll go 2 meters. So why don't we make it 2 meters wide first? Right now I'm looking at about 3 meters. About 2.5 there. And that's about 2 meters right there. 2 meters square. Let's select it. And we'll move it over to be more centered. And while we're moving, let's just make sure that we're on par with the actual 0 origin. For whatever reason, we are coming in underneath. Are we upside down with it? Yeah, I think my entire model is upside down, which is a problem. So if we're upside down, then we need to be rotated 180 degrees on the y-axis. And how to do that here? Well, that's a question for somebody who's better at this kind of thing. And we were dealing with geometry data. You got constraints, physics. Yeah, let's go with the modifier. Generate. I don't think we need that. Deform. No. Edit. Mesh cache. I don't think that this is right. I don't think it's any of this. I don't think it's that. I think that it's this. I think that on Y we need a 180. And then we're offset by God knows how much. Because now we've rotated it. But that's okay, we'll just bring it back. Kind of eyeballing it wise. I mean, we're pretty much on the 0 location. It's based on, eyeballing it. And if we take this plane over here, I'm not sure if we're going to end up being on the 0 location for the Y. I think we're slightly underneath, which is fine. But now we're not really matching up. It could be because we need to be rotated 180 there. Yeah. Now it's directly underneath. Kind of a funky translation, but it gets the job done now. Let's go ahead and move it. This is move, right? Yeah. To right there. Just for now. And let me check the it seems to be below. Seems to be below where I want to go. Oops. The carpet here is negative that. So why don't we just take this, make that 0, and then we'll take the hair of the carpet. We'll make it positive that. Doesn't even seem to be the right thing at all. Also, it doesn't... 0 doesn't look like 0. There's some kind of translation there. I don't know why. I guess it's the location. Wait, what number did I just set? Yeah, no, for this. It's not at 0, is it? I set Z, yeah, I didn't mean to set Z. Okay, so this means something else entirely. Z is up and down. In the game engine, Z is left and right. But here, Z appears to be up and down. Let's prove that real quick. So if I set it to 1, we moved it up. Alright, good proof. So 0, 0 seems to be the correct thing to do here. Not sure why I would want it any other way. Now all I have to do is just copy this. I said 32 times. Well, I meant 32 squares if I did. Alright, so this is very simple to do. Copy, paste, and now we're moving. Let's see. This is helpful. We have X, Y, and Z is the upper level. So I think I want to go in one direction. Whichever direction, and I'm just going to make it this. It should probably be in the X direction. Just to pick it. Seems like the proper thing to do. Okay, that was totally butchered. Hold on. What's going to be the best way to move this over? Copy, paste. I don't know why it's like that. I guess the best way to move it over would actually be by numbers. So, copy, paste. Now the ones that I have here, we want to translate them both over on X. Which, why is the location of X not? Doesn't matter. We'll just add 2 to it. 2, like that. And then on the carpet hair 001, same thing. Find X, add 2 to it. Now we have a seam there, which is not ideal. But I'm going to ignore it for now. And continue. Next locations are going to be 4. Right, 4. That's the carpet hair. And this is the carpet. 02. I think 16 is going to be a good enough length of carpet. I don't know. What do you guys think? For the sake of time, we'll go with 16. I'm not exactly translated over correctly there. What gives? It's actually the hair of 2. Right, it's not the right. Somehow we've got the wrong decimal. There we go. Good as new. I suppose I could just export this and see what we wind up with. Let's do that. I'm not entirely sure what this will translate to in our world. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Trying to make a very suspenseful game. I guess I need to worry about making it fun as well. That's on me. I need to also have fun. Alright, so dark hallway. Exporting this carpet. Wait, what happened? Okay, I didn't click it. Alright. Alright, let's see what we can do. The ground right here. I think the ground scale is going to be not correct. Well, I'll leave that intact because I know that's a functional ground. But I want the other ground to have no scale. I want the position to be the same. Does need a glider. I do need... I think both grounds are okay. These 3D objects really take a long time to load, and that kind of sucks about them. That's why I'm thinking about just going with a texture image. This takes forever to load. It's too, I guess it's too detailed, the hair of it. It's one object. Yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, I'm doing a little bit more than just the carpet. But yeah, that carpet is too big. Let's see, how big is this carpet? Yeah, I just can't believe that. If I'll find a way to reduce the number of vertices on it, I guess. Oh, Jesus. I rendered it and I fell off. Shut down, no. That's not what I want. Well, that has its own set of problems, doesn't it? Because I was supposed to be on a collider. Let's see. Python is not responding. That's not a good sign. Yeah, definitely. It's for sure the 3D model. It's too big. I'm gonna find a way to make it not as big. Vertex weight proximity. Interesting. So this is a smashable carpet, I guess, is what that is. I don't know if I need it to be that fancy. I'm gonna pass on the carpet for now. Just go with a nice carpet texture, like I had before. In fact, I'm gonna dig the one that I had before out of the trash. There it is. It's gonna look a little bit jank, but it'll allow us to move on. Worry about it a little bit later. The carpet texture. Can't let it get in the way of development. Alright, so all I'll have to do here is just change the texture of the ground to carpet. Dot JPEG. Get rid of this. Get rid of this. Pretty soon I'll have carpet. Be able to render my carpet properly. But for now, we have carpet.jpg. Now let's see how that goes. Alright, first impressions, it's terrible. But second impressions, we need to make a carpet square class, which we have. And the dimensions of it. Scale should be set to 111. And so we'll be able to build these. So we have a hallway that is 6 by 16. So let's go ahead and define those. Hallway length. Yeah, I like that for length. And hallway width. And then we'll go wall height. Carpet width is just going to be the hallway width. What is this one here that we're doing? I'm thinking about that. One in this context is 1 of the X, which is the thickness of the wall. I don't care about that. It's 1 is fine. It doesn't have any bearing on what I'm doing. Walls will always be cubes with a texture, and hopefully I can get more advanced with the wall texture. And this is going to require a more sophisticated device, but this is just for testing. The goal is to make this carpet square class. I can already imagine that I'm going to have seams, which is going to be an issue. Yeah. Let's just make it to where I can scale it. For sure, we should accept quarks like that, and then pass it in here. Because that makes it way more flexible. We know what we're doing, but we don't know what we're not going to do. Kind of. We'll figure that out. Alright, this all looks good. As far as the haze goes, it's not really depending on anything at all. The ground, though, yeah, that's what we need to focus on. So the scale... I'd rather that be like, what's the... Yeah, 2. We'll just make it 2. Squares of 2. It could be 3. The lowest common denominator if the width is 6. So it's 3 by 3. Yeah, no, not exactly. Oh yeah, the scale. Interesting. Yeah, that actually does look good. And a collider. Yeah, it does need a collider. Let's see how that does. Carpet is not defined. Oops. Is that my carpet? What has happened? I don't think that these walls are placed correctly. Let's see. Negative hallway width divided by 2. That is the correct number. Negative 3. Wall height, that's correct. Hallway length divided by 2. Pretty sure that this should be... So first of all, the scale of this should be hallway length. Yeah, that's not right. That's what it gets wrong the first time. Okay. The right one as well. The scale on the Z-axis should also be hallway length. There should be no back wall. It hallucinated a back wall. I never intended for there to be a back wall. I do want there to be a ground, but it's going to be created out of carpet. I just don't know if this is the right way to do it at this point. I guess I could try to use the old noggin here. So the position is going to advance forward on the Z-axis. That's correct. It's also going to advance on the I-axis, but it's only going to go up. Yeah, not 10. 10 is not correct there. 10 is way too much. I, we only really want, for possible numbers, we want 0 and 1 for I. Or 1 and 2. We can go 3. And I think we would be fine. For this one, we want the range to be the hallway length, not necessarily divided by 2. Divided by, with the integer division, divided by the length of the square, which we're calling carpet square scale. We have 32 divided by 3. It's going to be a funky number, but we do need integer division for this to work properly. And I don't think we want it to round down, because it's going to be like never as long as the hallway, always shorter, and potentially shorter by 3 units. 3 meters, which is quite a bit. But we'll let it slide for now. Just to let the concept go through. And then alas, we can begin to position our carpet squares, which are positioned I times 3. I times between 0 and 3. And then the J, which is this number, which will give us integers we don't want integers. Yeah, no, this is not right. We don't want every integer in between 0 and this number. But I guess we can consider that to be... Yeah, okay. Yeah, since we're multiplying by the scale, that is okay. So this is only going to end up being 0 and whatever 32 divided by 3 is, something like 11-ish. Okay. Let's make some colors too, just so we can see it. I guess it doesn't like it when I call them random. It's probably enough for now. I don't know what the order of operations is. I think modulo is treated the same as a multiplication level operator. I don't know what's happening. My guess is nothing. I don't think I was loading the model in there, so I think it just ran quick. Didn't do anything. And then, yeah. Alright, something has gone terribly wrong with the walls and stuff. I'm just gonna go ahead and go back everywhere. This does need to become relative, so I'm gonna move this out to its own class just to keep it nice and even. So the class is going to be hallway. For now, we're from Ursina. Oops, hold on, I gotta name this hallway. Rename to hallway. Python. Yes, and now from Ursina, import all. Turn on my air conditioner. Over here we'll be able to house all of our stuff about the hallway. I'm not ready for the first person controller. I don't know if I want that like that. That one might be injected. I think injecting dependencies is probably good practice in Python. I'm not sure. It could be. I don't see why not. Alright, so here we need a class called hallway, which will extend entity itself, I suppose. Let's just see what we get by just calling this. Curious. Oops. From hallway. Import hallway. Get rid of all this for now. texture. That would help. Make it so the folks at home can see too. Alright. Now we can safely comment it out. Yeah, without the comment, it's what I want. App run is still there. For my first person controller though, I think I want my gravity to be set to 0. Hopefully that'll work. Alright, let's see how that goes. What we have here is a wall. Pretty decent wall. So that's one wall. Let's make another class called wall. And yeah, it'll be exactly identical to that. Yeah, we do want the walls to be identified as walls. Okay, so we have this hallway class. This is where we could start putting our hallway variables that we're going to define. We're going to be kind of universal. So here we go. Hallway width. And 6 seems pretty good. And the hallway length of 32, that might be a little small. And I think I can define these walls and the ceiling and the floor. I'm not going to call it the ground because it's not outside. I'm not a heathen. Create walls. Let's go. Right now we'll just use these textures. Wall texture. Go with wall model as well. Wall scale. Yeah, we'll go ahead and move all of this stuff out, but I mean, I don't think I need that. That's just going to be something on wall. I guess all of this is, but I don't think there's any reason to use anything other than a cube for a wall model. Just leave it the way it is. Sometimes I get a little bit carried away with the variables. Texture. These are going to be, this needs to be hallway length. And the walls are just going to be constantly at that length. And then I think that the stuff is going to move. The stuff on the walls, like the texture, is going to move. How would that be accomplished? maybe this will be done in squares, but it tends to look kind of janky. It's done in squares. Figure it out. Not a problem. I don't know about the position being a 2 or a 1 there. Ground level should be 0. Hallway length is that. Let's say wall height. Everything else should be pretty much already determined. Now, what is this 1? 1 is just standard scale. I think that we want a standard scale just in case we need to make everything bigger. Standard scale. Just so we're not confused about what scale means. Is it the scale of a fish? What does that mean? What is a scale? You step on a scale and weigh ourselves. So negative. The hallway width divided by 2. Then this I suppose will be the Y origin or the Z origin. And then the Y origin, I mean, hey, let's just do them all in order here. For whatever reason, if we ever need to change the origin of the X origin, the Y origin, and the Z origin, which the Y origin and the ground level are the same thing. So let's just use that proper terminology instead of ground level, which we don't have yet. This is the floor. I like that. And the wall texture is not something that we're going to use in other places. It's just going to be on this wall. So I think we're free to keep that one out of. Yeah, so this is what we want in Z origin. This seems excessive, I know, naming all these variables, but it will be important to make sure that if we use the Z origin again, we're targeting the right Z origin. If we need to change it, get things in line. Okay. So let's go ahead and class everything else. That's a wall that has a default position. It's only set to be one wall, so if we make 2 walls right now, then we'll have to have negated positions. none of this is necessary. This is fine. We'll just call it in the constructor for now. There's no need for all this excessive indenting. It's egregious. Alright, so once we get into this constructor function, we'll build the walls, and then we'll also need to construct the floor. But our carpet square class we don't have, I guess. For now, we'll make our floor its own class. We'll handle the floor logic there. So we have a cube that has a scale of the hallway width, which in this case is 6. It has a scale Y, which is the height of it, of 1. That's probably pretty good. And then the scale Z, which is the hallway length, so it should stretch the entire length of the hallway. Seems pretty good to me. We have a box collider, so we can't fall through the floor. But we have a texture of eerie wall, which will change to carpet, just for now. So even though we don't really need to right away, oops, def is not good. We'll create a build floor function, and that's all it'll do. We'll create this floor, and then the final one is ceiling. Go ahead and check and see what this is doing. Here I would say, let's not and say we did with the collider on the ceiling. If the ceiling is, if you can jump up and touch the ceiling, it's probably, we just need to adjust the height of it. So when we look at the scale of the ceiling, we're looking at a similar scale to the floor. In fact, I think it would be the same thing of the floor. It's interesting that we could actually make like a horizontal scale. But the scale of the wall is a different scale. So this one would actually be a horizontal scale. You can use it there, and we could use it here. And that's about where they end in terms of similarities and being able to abstract things out. This is kind of excessive abstraction, but it is kind of cool. Well, we could do it with the wall as well. If we have hallway width divided by 2, height, wall height, and the Z origin. I mean, if we try to do this, multiply it with another thing, it would have to specify that we're only interested in targeting the negative, so that alone is not worth the abstraction, because then we would be having to code in another thing. Like, it would have to be like times -1 and then specify 1 and 1. Yeah, we don't want that. But I guess we could, yeah, it's just not worth the time or effort to get that into it. Alright, so the ceiling though is set to the position of X origin, 0 on the X axis. I'm not sure if that's correct. And the wall height that is definitely correct. And then the Z origin also 0. Okay, so basically it's just a plane that's raised by the wall height. Object oriented fail. Walls, I'd say ceiling is logically last. Alright, we're looking pretty bright in here, obviously. This is the hallway class. As jank as it appears. All right. Let's bring in the quarks. Oh, this is the bad part about transferring this over. It's almost like now I actually have to just do this. And def build elements. Change this entirely. Quarks. Nope. Just comment this out. Do it the old-fashioned way. Alright, so floor has to receive that. Oh great, none of them do. Okay. So I have to pass in the shaders, essentially. So the elements need to come in here, get passed into self.build elements, and then inside of that, call each individual thing like this. Floor, left wall, right wall, change the position, ceiling. Yeah, fine for me. Let me find nicer ways to organize it. Takes 0 positional arguments. Yeah. Okay, now we have to pass down the shaders. From main. Maybe not. Just disable the light. Entity default shader. Check out this documentation. Hey, what's going on? I'm making a game that's basically going to be like a dark hallway that goes forever. And right now I'm just trying to get these shaders working correctly to make the darkness appear more dark. And I guess there's one quick thing I could do in order to kind of haze the perspective, so to speak, and I can just use this technique and see what kind of effect that has on the perspective. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah, the carpet looks jank. It's gonna have to be the next thing that I fix. But it's a lot darker now. Alright. I'm okay with that. Instead of doing a whole bunch of other stuff. I'll go with what works. Alright, let's remove the trash. And since we got our hallway class, let's go ahead and commit that. So the goal here is to make a game that's compelling by the items that you find. It'll be like a continuous hallway that will go on forever. And then you'll find items that kind of tell you like who you are and why you're there. And you'll keep those items and you'll do things with those items. And sometimes you'll do the right thing, sometimes you'll do the wrong thing. If you do the wrong thing, you die or something like that. And you have to get to the end of the hallway. So let's fix the carpet. So for the carpet to work properly, it's going to need to be done up in squares. And since we have 32, I would say that the square is 32 by 6. 32 divided by 6. I mean, lowest common denominator, integer-wise, 16 and 3. It's possible to have 16 by 3 blocks, but I think that's excessive. I think we need to go 2 blocks of 8 by 3. Even then, we're looking at the length of it. So it's 2 by 3 blocks, which are going to be like this. Or rather, actually more like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 3, like that. And so there'll be a block here, and then another block right next to it. And that'll be the entire track because it's a six track block. Alright. Right away, I'll just define this thing right here. This is floor dimensions. And I'll set it to exactly what I just said, which is the floor square dimension is 3 by 2, or rather 2 on X. On the longer way, it's actually shorter, and then so it's 3 by 1 by 2. And this is derived from the half of the hallway. The half of the width of the hallway. This is just a common number STD scale. And then the 2 is the hallway length divided by 16. But 16 is something that we probably should also define. Hallway squares Z is 16. I got nothing else. I'll just have to describe this with a comment. Yeah, we can divide it into 16 squares. It's probably a better way to derive all these numbers. But just keeping track of them is half the battle. Alright, so this is how we're going to define the square dimensions of the floor, which is each square. The floor dimensions in squares. So the floor dimensions in squares. Here we have a 2. I mean, I think that it would be only fair to define a hallway squares X. Yeah. As 2. And then I don't want to worry about anything else. I'm gonna make another floor square class. Yeah, so the scale is going to be equal to this floor square dimensions. But I honestly think that should be just a global. Just in case I need it somewhere else. Hold on, sorry. Let's make sure we have everything that we need for this. Like with, you know, not trying to use anything before it's defined. Wall height. horizontal scale. I'd say that's in a general category. That should go right there. All the origins. Just gonna go there. Let me start going into specific objects. Alright. Floor square dimensions is no longer going to be a property of floor square, it's just going to be something that we have global. Okay. So we'll just have a carpet texture on these floor squares. I like the use of the build elements function. That looks pretty good. Let's see how that does. Uh-oh. Object-oriented fail. Guess we have to define that here. Like that. Definitely looks a lot better when it's more fine like that. Runs smoothly. Yeah. So generating the floor generally works. I'm just curious if I add another one of these hazes over top, will it make it look darker? Which is funny if it would just work like that. That's all you had to do the entire time. Yeah, look at that. It's extremely dark now. Probably can't even see it. Alright, well let's split the difference then. Between the darkness. Okay, well that's not quite even, yeah. I guess that the moral of the story is they can only get between that and one being like it's completely saturated and you can't see anything. So between 0.9 and that is 0.95. And it's just crazy to think that that's almost completely saturated. Alright. Nonetheless, it's a success as far as building the floor and the object-orientedism of it goes, I believe. It's good that everything is scaled and relative. So let's go ahead and commit this. OOP win. What is so big? Is the JPEG that big? That's what it is. It's a huge JPEG. It's been the whole time just a huge JPEG. It doesn't need to be that big. Let me revise that to make it not that big. It's only one square, so it has to be not that big. Let's go into Photoshop. create a new file. I don't want it to be that big. 1080 is probably even too big, but we'll do 1080 and we'll go generative fill. Where's generative fill? There it is. And we'll say dark shag rug texture. Highly detailed. Do want it to be nice and detailed. There's nothing wrong with asking for something to be nice and highly detailed. I think that one would come across the best. I want it to be kind of red. I don't know if that's right. I'll try that out. Carpet DM. Looks nice and rich with high detail. It's way less than 100 megabytes. GitHub hates me for trying to do 100 megabytes. I didn't know that there was a limit. I guess there is. Makes sense. Let's see. Export. You should be able to get right into it, right? Blah, blah, blah. It's pretty incoherent. I can't really tell. Let's see what happens when I remove the haze. Clear the haze. Oh, there it is. My guess is that it ends up being too dark and I can't really see it. Because it looks pretty good without the shadiness. So, couple of options there. The only one that I see as viable is just to reduce the shadiness, right? What happens when I drop this down to 0.6, for instance? Still shady. The walls are colored as if they have light. And that is kind of a problem for me. This light is supposed to be disabled. When I enable it, nothing happens. Yeah, I got nothing. The haze could be throwing it off, to be fair. very rich without the haze. Let's see. Let's remove the haze and then disable the light. Very one-dimensional. How do we make it look dark? Lit with shadows shader. Just get rid of this altogether. What happens when we do that? Looks pretty much the same. The only way that I'm able to successfully kind of make it look dark is with a pretty strong haze element, just something I made up. That looks pretty dark, right? I'd say that's what we need to go with. You can only really see the thing there when we look at it. As far as this goes, I don't know if I had sky disabled or enabled, but this gives me a nice little light effect, which is cool. And I think that's fine. For this game, that's fine. Let's bring in the wall size a little bit. Let's see. What did we actually just change? Anything? All that? I didn't commit this? Cancel. I don't want to see permanently discard. I don't want to see this 100 message or whatever. This is poo-poo. Poo-poo message. Get rid of all of it. It's just poo-poo. I don't need it. Skybox, the eerie wall. There we go. Got rid of the poo-poo. And the game should still run perfectly. Better than it ever has. Same as it ever was. Alright. Now we can now we can mess with the dimensions a little bit here. Just reduce the wall height a little bit. Alright. Nice. What else can we do? The width of the hallway is a little wide. Reduce it. Yeah, there we go. I'd say that's a better hallway. And you know what? Since we're not really registering the model, let's go ahead and make the hallway much longer. Nice. All right. I think it can stand to be a little bit darker. And there needs to be something that makes it even darker further away. And I think that's going to have to be something... Let's see. So if the parent is the camera UI, we need to change the position to the position of the camera UI times like 1 on the X and Y axis, but not the Z. Z has to remain constant. Let's create another class for this perspective darkness. It'll be like a sphere that hovers, and the position of it literally changes depending on where you're looking. A quad that covers the whole screen. No, it's a sphere. On the X and Z. So, let's see. I'm gonna get 8 for now. Darkness radius of 10. No, I was thinking it should be 2. Negative darkness offset. I don't know, maybe that would actually work just like that. If it just offset in the Z. No, it has to also be offset in the... Just be offset the same level, right? I don't know. It's going to be a multiplier. If I'm looking... I guess if the parent is the camera UI... Okay. No. I think I was doing right. the darkness. I think my darkness is too big. It's not properly offset from me. Just reduce the scale to see exactly what's happening. That Z that's floating in front of me. Be a good crosshair. It's also a good way I think fixing it to the camera position is maybe not the right thing, unless I don't think that's the right thing. I think it needs to be at the end of the hallway. Alright, what does our hallway look like right now? Nice. Okay. So the darkness at the end of the hallway is what we're going to be looking at here. There's the hallway. There's the floor square dimensions, so the darkness radius, which I think is going to be 4, maybe. Darkness offset is going to be at least 8. I mean, it should probably be as long. Okay, we'll go hallway length. Divided by 2. I mean, like plus 2, honestly. I want it to be at the end of the hallway, which we're now making 64. But I guess it has to be gradiented. Think about this as a very big portion of the hallway. It's gradiented. And it comes up to you. And it's in front of you by 2. And it's a very soft gradient of darkness. Darkness radius then of 10 would probably be okay. I like that the darkness is a sphere. I'll do a quad. I'll humor it for a second. So when we do the hallway, we'll have another element on here called darkness. And we'll be passing in all that stuff, I guess. Oops. No typo. I'm not sure where the darkness is, so I'll color it red. So I can see the darkness. Where is it? I don't even see it. I don't even see it. Darkness radius is set to 10, darkness offset. Does it even take arguments? I don't think it does. I don't think we want it to. Let's get that out of there. But that's not fixing it. Darkness, color red, collider box, model quad. There's no parent element to it. It's one way to get it to appear. There it is. But I don't think we want that. The darkness offset being negative, I don't think is correct. The scale being 1. I mean, first of all, it needs to be a sphere. Fine, you can do that. Making it red. Alright, where's the sphere? I still don't see it. It must not be being called somehow. Let's see. Build elements. Hallway. Yeah, I mean, probably fine. Passing in the chords? Maybe that's what I need to do. I think that's it. But it's changed the color back to black. No. Do the old-fashioned print. Printing darkness. And we do have darkness printed. And back over here, not passing in the keyword arcs. But it's still working in that it's not breaking. Okay. Black. What is that? There's no texture called black. What else is wrong? The position. I mean, at this point, let's just make it 0, 0, 0. The collider, none. I don't want to collide with it. The scale. Yeah, that's. I want it to be pretty big. The model. I want it to be a sphere. Not quite a sphere, but there it is. Need a third argument. There's a sphere there, I can't see it. Darkness radius. It should be yeah, we should incorporate the origin as well. So X origin plus darkness offset plus darkness radius Y origin, then Z origin plus all that same stuff. Let's just include that in the offset. We can also include the X origin. So that the only number that we actually have to pass in here is the darkness offset. But we need to make this one the offset X, and this one will be the offset Y. I don't know if that's going to be entirely true also because of the dimensions of the sphere. But it'll do something more better than what we had. More better. The goal is to make all of our nice numbers to where we could reference them and keep them nice and safe. Alright, so the position is now going to be darkness offset. Just trying to think, is that what I really want it to be? It's probably fine. I could call it init X. But that's fine. I'm not sure if that's going to be correct. But the last one This actually needs to be Z. X and Z are the only ones that I care about. What happened to my circle? Am I inside of it? Let's assume that I'm inside of it. Move it over quite a bit. And I won't even see it. There it is at 0, 0, 0. Just chilling. I'm guessing that the Z offset needs to just be 0. One of them needs to be 0. X. It's moving it too far to the side. There we go. Well, let's go ahead and rightfully make that black. Get rid of this unused variable. I'd say that's going to have to be 4 in front of me. And then as far as the Y origin goes, it seems to be, we're looking at the upper level of the radius, so I think that we want the radius divided by 2 as the Y origin to move it up. Maybe negative that? It seems to be too high. Maybe just divide it by 4. Yeah, there we go. It looks a little bit more like I'm heading into the darkness. Not too bad, not too bad. I wonder if this is actually the function of the wall height. Does look a little bit nicer right there. Too bad it's not free. Check free. Why am I not only getting free stuff? Alright. See if we can accomplish some kind of gradient here on this darkness. Trying to figure out how can we accomplish such a thing. It'd be pretty hard to control the level of darkness. Like, we have a clear area right there where the darkness starts, and when we're looking at this, we should see, I guess, you know, we can just keep compounding these RGBA colors. Right, see that? So the level of darkness, I guess we can just keep iterating through those. Like if we had 3 levels of darkness, and each one levels of darkness. And what we're passing in here is nothing. I think that, well, the position will matter. The offset. And that's about it. So let's just pass in the Z offset. And then when we're building this hallway, when we're building these elements, we're going to build all the darkness levels. So darkness is going to be kind of a bunch of darknesses. Right, just like that. Build the darkness. Alright, what does that look like? Nice. There should be more levels of darkness than that. change it to 32 levels of darkness. And they should be closer together than that if it's 32 levels. Let's see. What's the deal with that? Darkness. Z offset equals... Yeah, no, not that. I think the offset is actually going to be equal to the hallway length divided by levels of darkness multiplied by the iterator. So it's just proportional. Yeah, like that, exactly. But the levels of darkness are probably a little bit too intense in terms of their own individual impact on the darkness. Still too much. Let's reduce it a lot. Yeah, that's starting to look good, although there could definitely be a more incremental approach to this. I think that we want to go with more levels of darkness, 64, and we want to see less intensity per layer. And then the question becomes, how far can we push this? $64 is quite a bit. We're out of it here. Can we go way more? What's the next level up from 64? 8. 64. 64 times 8. We don't have to go that much. Let's go 128 levels of darkness. It looks pretty good for being a custom darkness engine. 128 levels of darkness is pretty good. It requires a more nuanced approach, I would say. Which we can... keep adjusting it, I suppose. I'm wondering if that blur is now getting in the way. Yeah, I'd say that blur is kind of getting in the way now. That is some deep darkness. Very eerie level of darkness. But I definitely have achieved it. Let's take it a step further. Let's just see what happens when we get rid of the base haze. I'd say the base haze is kind of needed. Looks pretty corny without it. And drop it just a little bit. The obfuscation is pretty prudent. Those Looney Tunes lines are going to be a little bit much, but let's go with half of this, or rather 0.04 on this. Let's go crazy with 240 levels of darkness. I like it. I really like it. The darkness engine is a win, in my opinion. Still seems a little too intense. Since we have more levels of darkness, maybe we can just drop the base layer a little bit. Don't require as much obfuscation. Yeah. I don't know. Probably on your screen it doesn't look like it does on my screen. Let's go ahead and add some stuff in. I gotta try to compromise it. It's gonna bother me. This right here is where it needs to kind of stay in terms of the way that it looks. Like you could go down this hallway forever and not realize like how long it is. Alright, let's add something in. Anything. Just a table that's free. How about a bookshelf instead? looks like good stuff right here. I'm really super happy about this darkness engine, by the way. See, how's it doing? Put the JPEG up there. Where'd it go? Terminal. Ooh, that looks eerie. Get something popped up in this game. This dusty old bookshelf. But man, look at that. I don't know. Can you see that okay? On YouTube, can you see that? We go back into not the darkness. Here we're going down this dark hallway. I think the levels of darkness look pretty good. We can make it a little bit more intense as it goes down the way by changing this variable up here. Where is it? Darkness. 0.2, change it to 0.03. Now it gets even more dark. Alright, so I've got some Blender objects that I've just downloaded. I'm going to try to add them in here and see what they look like. Extract them. And we have a dusty old bookshelf here. Nice. And this is pretty much what I want to go for sure. You can use this to make other objects as well. Probably savvy enough to do that. The height of it looks about right too, so I'm just going to export it as an OBJ into my dark hallway repository, straight up. Keep the name more simple than this. Bookshelf. I think the presence of this game implies eeriness, dustiness, ricketiness, all of the ness. Okay, let me minimize Blender. I'll create a bookshelf class. The model is going to be set to bookshelf.obj. Scale is going to be standard. Origins are going to be the similars. And when we're constructing our hallway, we'll just build a bookshelf. Let's see how that goes. There's the bookshelf. It has no skin, which there's several ways to deal with that, I'm sure. But for now, I'm just going to move one of my assets from the other project, a cherry wood texture, into this project. And in my hallway file, under my bookshelf class, we'll set the texture to cherry wood PNG. Alright, let's see what's going on. There we go. That's not the best way to do it, but that's fine. Hey, thank you. The thing I'm most proud of here is this darkness right here. That is just simply, if you can see, it's just layers of literally just an opaque sphere. So as you go down, it just appears more and more dark. It's so simple. It's going to be nice to figure out how to correctly position or correctly get the skin for the 3D models. It's going to be really nice. I'll figure it out one day. But for now, let's go ahead and place more of these bookshelves so that they appear to be spread out. So here we'll just create a bookshelf interval. When it's implemented over a measurement, it's actually known as a step. The bookshelf Z step will be that. Instead of that, actually, we're going to have none bookshelves. Shelves. And we'll say 4. We'll go with 4 bookshelves. And whether they're on the right or the left will be random. So over here in our hallway, we'll create another method called place bookshelves. And I'm going to guess that that's mostly correct, except for the fact that I want there to be a left or right variable. Which will be random. I'm not going to stand for that. So, left or right should be either a -1 or a negative or a +1. Right, exactly. And then this way I can just simply place my bookshelf with the multiplier left or right, which is going to be either negative or +1. don't have bookshelves anymore. That's what we need. No, I think it's called push. Append in Python, that's right. So now we're appending a bookshelf. I don't know what it's doing with the position. It doesn't need to be that crazy. I think I need to break that out. It's important to have readability with Python. What are we doing here? Left or right times hallway width divided by 2. Yeah, okay, that's the negator that we have here. And why would we be choosing the random int here? I don't think that we want that at all. We want that to actually be a function of where we are on the length of the thing. So let's go with the hallway length divided by num bookshelves. I can't read that. Yeah, that's fine. The only reason I can't read is because the text is too big, so I can stream it better. Oh, I'm just doing this for YouTube purposes, and I guess it's a hobby too. For me, you know, I am trying to make a game. So, I mean, maybe I'll produce it as a game that people can buy, because I think that it's gonna end up making a pretty compelling game. And it's the coolest thing about it is that it's going to be so manageable in terms of your computer's resources that anybody could run it, because the world will be self-generating. Anyway, so these bookshelves, we want to append them based on, with the position that's based on, yeah, all that, that's fine. I guess we can move this into here to keep the function nice and pure. This is indented too far. Get a bookshelf there. I don't know. I don't see the other bookshelves. So they should have 4 bookshelves. And they should be placed along the Z axis on left or right. Let's just change this number to 0. 0. And yeah, we'll be changing that. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. Bookshelves, append, bookshelf, position, parent self. Okay, so when we're calling bookshelf up here, we should be passing in a position, but now we're overriding the position. So that's our problem. Instead of just automatically overriding the position, we can leave it up to keyword args. This is cherrywood.png. I'm not sure how that got destroyed. But if we just don't specify that, I think that we'll be okay. There's a nice cherry wood. Here we have another. Oh, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much, man. Alright. So these look good in the 0 position, but let's put them in the position that they're supposed to be, which is either all the way to the left or all the way to the right, and also their rotation needs to be changed. They're oriented incorrectly. So we'll do both of those things. Also, the orientation is going to be changed depending on left or right. But we can figure that out. So we're doing that actually over here. Left or right. And so instead of passing in that, it's going to be hallway, width divided by 2 times left or right. I think that'll work in terms of what is all that. I'm not sure how that happened. They must be just appearing outside. They must be just appearing outside of the walls. So we have to offset them slightly. Our bookshelves positions need to be offset by 1 probably. So if it's left or right, then it's going to be either plus or minus 1. So, I mean, it'll just be plus left or right. Or is it minus? Yeah, I think it's actually minus left or right. My bad. There we go. There's one. There's the other. Alright, what's the proper way to rotate them? Well, I would say on the, what? X-axis? Try that. I think that's good. There we go. Now these are the shelves where we can get things off of them. Books and such. So there's a bookshelf. What else can we do? Well, they gave us an entire scene. Let's just open that up and see what's inside. Cool. It's a whole thing. Wow, look at that wall. I might like that wall texture instead. Oh, look at the floor too, that's nice. The chest. Gotta go with the treasure chest. The treasure chest is mine. Everything that's not a treasure chest needs to get out. I guess book. We'll just go with book. Boring books. I hate books. Sorry to those of you that like books. I'm upside down. Oh wow, the material for the... okay. The books are not like individually... I bet you we can figure out how to get them off though. I don't know. I think this is good enough. I'm very happy with the way that the darkness engine turned out. What do you say? I guess we could try to include these, this treasure chest, because I know that is a separate island, separate object here. It's actually two. Just get rid of everything that's not the treasure chest, so. I mean, I have a backup of it. Spider webs. Lights, the camera, the action, you know. Nothing but chest. Let's set the cursor's origin to 0, 0, 0. And then with a bit of luck, figure out how I can just move all of these at once. That'd be sweet, right? It's too bad I think that's beyond my ability with this program. Truly. Too bad. I can't even... I don't even know how to zoom properly. Oh. There we go. Now we've zoomed in a little bit. Alright, well here goes nothing. Why is there treasure chests in this hallway? I don't know, it's a really good question. I'm glad I asked it. Come on, little buddy. Oh look, this is useful too. Nice. I don't think it has to be perfect. Let's see, how big is it? It's hard to tell how big it is. It's like one, I think. I don't know. Should be relative to the bookshelf, not too big. Let's go ahead and export it. We'll just call it the chest. What's in the chest? This dark hallway is where we're trying to go. Export the chest. I've just got to export the chest. Alright, so we have the chest. Let's just change our bookshelves into chests. For the sake of me not wasting my time. I don't see it. We've got a bookshelf right there. That's good. And chest. Can't see the chest. Oh, there's a chest. It's too low. Alright. Can we go back to it and bring it up a little bit? I guess something. It seems like it's not too low at all. Wonder why it's looking too low. I wonder if the bookshelf is also looking low, and I just haven't realized it. Oh, you know what? That could be a big thing too, is that the actual height of it. Yeah. Didn't think about that. There's the bookshelf. All good there. And the chest, which will also be cherry wood. No chest right away. What about down here where I saw the other chest? No chest. That's surprising. That is surprising. Bring it up slightly. Doesn't make sense for the position to remain constant, I guess. Okay, let's bring it back a little bit, because I think that we've messed with some of the arguments where we didn't need to. Let's get back to where it's generating the bookshelves where they need to be. I think that's it. It needs to be minus left to right, that's correct. Bookshelf. Found another bookshelf. And the rotation as well. That's not there. That's okay. great. The bookshelves, they're rotated correctly. Now that we got that, is the chest gonna show up? Let me bring it in. I'm not seeing any chests. Let's make them 2 times bigger. All around. There's one. There's a chest right there. There's another chest. Let's see. So the Y position that we're setting here is 0. I think the Y position needs to be set to STD scale. And then we don't need to mess with the scaling on any of the objects. It's kind of a slippery slope. When you start adjusting the scale for everything, then everything's kind of whack. I don't even know what just happened there. Did I change the floor scaling? Yeah, I was messing with the floor. I didn't mean to be messing with the floor. I was going for the bookshelves, which is right here instead. So where we have the position of the bookshelves, then we need to set this to STD scale. Okay. Not quite. Kind of seems like that's not even necessary at all. So that was up 1 square. 0 should be visible at that point. It's not. It's, yeah, I can see it kind of. It's in the ground. So let's go STD scale divided by 2. A half step up. There it is. Well, let's put it back to bookshelf. That bookshelf is tall, but it is a bookshelf. Self.scale is what we will call it. or we can just put it here. OOP failed. I mean, really, I just want that to be in its own class. There's no need for that to be, like, anywhere else. Yeah, we don't need this anymore. Alright, in our hallway, we'll have place bookshelves and place chests. Now, there's a lot of repetition between that and there's a problem too, and it's if there's a shelf and a bookshelf or a chest and a bookshelf in the same square. Just remedy this really quickly by subtracting the Z from the position of the chest by 1 every time. So here's the Z, and we'll minus it by STD scale. That way it's always off by 1. Like that. I guess that the random is coming across to where they're kind of like the same. I don't think Z is the right. I mean, it is the right number. Probably not going to work correctly. The lone bookshelf. Another lone bookshelf. And a chest in the middle of the hallway. Alright, we're going to do it cheaply. We're just going to put a bookshelf, a chest on the other side of the bookshelf. Let's call this place objects. Wow, is that really happening per bookshelf? That should not be happening right there. Where's my build darkness function? I can't believe that that is still, yeah. Wow. Okay. Okay then, I'm gonna pretend like that didn't happen. Let's see, position 0 plus. Yeah, it's just gonna offset it a little bit. We can try that. Yeah, there we go. Alright, what happened to my darkness, though? That was kind of crazy. I'm trying to think. Here, why don't I just take this? Copy that into there. Discard all this mumbo jumbo. Close all these others. You know, it doesn't automatically update it for you. You have to explicitly open it again. Alright, here's my nice darkness engine. Now, among the discarded objects that I just discarded, there are a few of them that I'm going to need. Bookshelf. Bookshelf will need to be restored. Restore. Cherry wood. Restore. Both the chests. Restore them. Hallway, not so fast. Main, also not so fast. That's about it, though. So when we go into hallway, we still have this build darkness function, which works. What we need to implement is this other function that we made called place objects. That darkness function way out of the way, and then we'll call this place objects here, but we're not done because well, one of the reasons is that we don't have a class for some of these objects. Chest and bookshelf. Let's go ahead and add those in. And then we'll try to compile it, run it. So now we have bookshelf num bookshelves not defined. And that's okay. Let's go ahead and define it as 4 sounds like a pretty good number. Okay, I don't need you. Alright. Now we're very dark. And we've got some bookshelves here. And the chests. So this is a successful way of adding bookshelves and chests. There we go. This is probably more efficient than traditional shaders. More effective in my opinion. So let's see where we have the darkness here. Let's modify it less. 0.017. it's less dark. As we're going, we can kind of see things a little bit. I'm very happy with this, actually. All right. It's going to be a bathroom break. Possibly the end, I'm not sure. All right. See you in a bit, maybe. Alright. So that's going to be it for me today. We can take one more look at Dark Hallway and see where it's come. As you can see, we have a very dark hallway and a lot of potential with this particular format. If you say, oh, it's a little bit too dark, yeah, I can see that. It is a little bit too dark. let's just go ahead and crank back some of the default base darkness. Just a snudge. And it's a little less dark. When we go this way, we're going down this endless hallway. But it does end right there. Anyway, I'm excited about this one. I think this is going to turn into a good one. So join me while I work on this game pretty much every day at noon and then at random times when I can find the time, because I love doing this stuff. Alright, see you later.